this line, the SGR line that we are developing, we know who we are serving, the people of Kenya, the people of East Africa. We know where we are going. We are coming to Nairobi, we are going to Kampala, we are going to Kigali, yes. We are going to Jumba. So this is not the Lunatic Express, this is the Sanity Express.
Traveling in a train from Mombasa to Nairobi and vice versa is one of very rare experience that you're ever going to get, because you're traversing through a very large national park, which is Savo East and Savo West. You're virtually doing a free game drive for the price of a train ticket. You can't get that anywhere else in the world, only in Kenya.
This project is what is going to transform the economy of this country. It is what is going to take us to the next level as a middle income status country.
And to have such a kind of a modern infrastructure in this day and age is quite transformational and will go a long way in easing transportation in the country.
We welcome SGR a lot. That will save our road, in that much of the heavy cargo actually will now get into the lane.
The secret to change is not to concentrate all your energies on fighting the old, but on building the new. Faster and efficient transportation is crucial to Kenya's and Eastern Africa's future aspirations. Therefore, the standard gauge railway encapsulates the collective ambition of the entire region. And that is why Kenya Railways is at the forefront to ensure the SGR project is a success.
This project is very transformative in terms of reducing the number of hours of cargo and passengers from Mombasa to Nairobi. It is massive. We anticipate that upon completion, it will be escalating or improving the GDP by at least 1.5%.
We'll be able to move up to about 22 million tons of freight on an annual basis. That in itself is removing a significant number of trucks from the roads, but at the same time also lowering the costs of transportation by 60%.
As with any major project, the standard gauge railway has received immense support, yet has also faced a myriad of critics and naysayers.
The project is huge, and the implications on it were not clear to very many people. So I think, and Kenya had never carried out a project of this magnitude. And so you'd expect that a lot of people felt that it needs to be stopped. There was a lot of misinformation. However, over time, the government has actually played a huge role in educating the different stakeholders. I think that has really helped.
However, most criticism on the SGR has arisen from a point of error and misconception of the standard gauge railway project.
It's the largest ever project in Kenya and Eastern Africa and Central Africa. So there'll be anxieties. This project is about acquisition of land, it's an issue about displacing maybe some activities along the corridor. And so people become obviously anxious as to what impact it will have. But the good thing is that they have started to see the benefits, because there will be a lot of investments along the way of the corridor. And so there will be new employment opportunities. Already it's employing about 27,000 people.
The SGR was conceptualized as part of the Kenya portion of the East Africa Railway Master Plan, and it has been subjected to heavy analysis by various stakeholders from its conception stage.
The master plan is a wider, if you like, plan to make sure that we have networks of roads, networks of railways, networks of civil aviation. And so you can expect that this railway we will be having that kind of impact in terms of making sure that the master plan is actualized.
The point of bulk transportation is a point that excites us a lot because there is huge opportunity here. As cement manufacturers, we are transporting a lot of materials every day by road. And as you know, when it comes to bulk transportation, the bigger the cargo you can move at a time, the better. So we look forward to using the services of the train.
So supply and demand needs to be linked, and efficient, integrated transport systems, communication systems are absolutely necessary. One, to reduce the cost of doing business. Two, to ease access to the market. And three, to provide the trunk and anchor for logistics.
Opposition to the project peaked with court cases filed and investigations carried out by various arms of government and the general public.
What we found on the ground was really amazing. Even some of my colleagues couldn't believe it because this project is so huge. It has gone very far. It is wonderful. And we are saying that as a committee, everybody was impressed. So we are saying the project should continue, and those who have been doubting Thomas should go down from Nairobi to Mombasa to confirm to themselves. But we are saying that the project is doing very well.
The SGR would at certain points deviate from the meter gauge railway track, and this necessitated the acquisition of private land.
Land acquisition was perceived to be the single largest challenge that we're going to encounter. Given our new constitutional dispensation, given the level of activism that we have in this country, this project was not going to take off. However, one thing that we must acknowledge is that the National Land Commission, the surveyors from Kenya Railways, have spent years of sleepless nights on that corridor, engaging the project affected persons to ensure that we get the land acquired.
So far we have acquired 992 hectares, which is about 2,400 acres. No, it's just a stretch along there. We acquired about 2,400 acres from Mombasa up to Nairobi, and we have so far paid out 11.7 billion Kenya shillings.
All affected landowners were entitled to compensation.
Eneo ambalo lilikuwa tukilitumia kwa upande wa bahari wamefukia. Wakati wa nyuma tulikuwa tukivua samaki vizuri sana, lakini baada ya kuja kuingia ujenzi huu ama mradi huu kidogo ulitudhuru sana. Tangu enzi ulipoanza huu mradi mpaka sasa bado hatujalipwa, lakini wenyewe wanatupa moyo kwamba watatulipa.
The issue of the fishermen, you know, we are affecting the livelihoods. Compensation is in terms of the land itself. Sometimes you have to include the businesses lost, the structures which are there, and also livelihoods. The fishermen have been affected because the project is going into 150 meters into the ocean.
From the fisher folks part, an award has already been given by the Railway Development Fund. NLC is on the ground to establish that everyone is okay with that award, after which they will receive their money. We've given a full award for that.
Yet again, a report was published critiquing various aspects of the land acquisition process.
It is also allowed under the law to appoint somebody else to pay for you. So we sat down with the Kenya Railways, because our main reason is because we did not have enough staff. We did not have capacity at that time. Okay? And we were questioned by Parliament why we did that. We have answered the same. Now we were directed that payment must be done by NLC, which we have now accepted. Therefore, Kenya Railways and any other acquiring body is supposed to remit the money directly to NLC, and NLC pays. There are also allegations that we are undervalued, and there are allegations that we are overvalued, which to me is okay, because an undervaluation of a valuation gives us an average.
So, Will there be a different approach to land acquisition in the second phase of the project?
You need to involve a lot of stakeholders in this. At any point, if you omit one of the stakeholders, it can derail the entire thing.
So for phase 2, we have clearly marked the line it's going to take. We have engaged early enough, like we did, for example, with the national park.
We'll also be posting our liaison officers to work with the people of those areas, most likely identified from those areas, people who know the people around, so that we can then have a seamless way of going forward.
The SGR project is deemed as too expensive and inflated that it may have been cheaper to revamp the existing meter gauge railway line.
Based on the cost-benefit analysis that was done, the cost of the project falls within the range that other projects of the similar sort has been constructed globally.
Why was the SGR not simply constructed on top of the old meter gauge railway track?
That actually is more or less not possible. The standard gauge railway specifications would not have fitted onto the meter gauge railway specification because the present meter gauge railway has very low speeds, as I've said, but it also has very high gradients. In addition, it also has very sharp curvature. We have to remove the existing rail, we have to consolidate the track bed, we have to provide new sleepers, which will now be concrete sleepers instead of the steel sleepers we have at the moment. We have to provide new rails. Instead of the light rails we have at the moment, we need heavier rails.
There were concerns that the SGR, compared to similar projects across the region, is deemed costly.
Sometimes it's a problem if you try to compare, projects which have got very different features, projects with different concepts. An example, the line for Ethiopia, it is 680 kilometers. It has only 13 crossing stations, which of course require infrastructure. Kenya is about 2/3 of that in terms of length, 472 kilometers. It has 33, crossing stations. So it just shows you that in terms of infrastructure, the concept is slightly different between the two projects. Even more importantly, our project is what we call Class 1 SGR. For Ethiopia, it's actually Class 2, meaning in terms of cost configurations, ours is different. And it's different because for Class 2, it carries less weight, and it's also less, in terms of speed, it's much slower than Class 1. So we can't compare.
With funds secured, a competent contractor had to be hired. China Road and Bridge Corporation is well equipped and competent to carry out the SGR construction process.
Chinese railway technology is one of the world's most advanced. China has a rail network of over 100,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers of which comprise high-speed passenger railways. This makes China a world superpower in the development of infrastructure. I have no doubt that with China's bilateral support, Kenya will soon have a first-class, world-class railway network.
The quality of workmanship that has been undertaken is, in our opinion, superb. Our professionals have looked at it and they are satisfied that what we are getting is value for money.
Questions over the capacity of the Project Supervision Consortium have been raised, citing perceived conflict of interest.
The Chinese consultancy company within the consortium is a very big consulting firm in China itself. They were consulting for Ethiopia Railways. They have been selected also to consult for the construction of SGR in Uganda. And beside that, we are using Chinese standards in the construction of this railway. So it is good to have somebody who understands the standards.
The construction is underway and the impact on the environment by the SGR has been adversely viewed.
You know, as an international contractor, we have responsibility to protect the environment. We come here not only execute the project, we also do some other things such as the environmental protection, the wild animal protection, the social responsibilities. We also talk with the local community. If there's really some damage, like when we do some blasting, the people complained that their house was cracking, we also do some compensation to them.
But measures have been taken to minimize any effect the SGR might have on the environment.
Beyond the environmental social impact assessment report that was undertaken, we had sittings with both KWS and KFS, and these organizations are the best suited to deal with matters that affect the areas that fall under them, because they have a lot of knowledge, they have a lot of scientists who are able to address the issues that may arise. And for example, at Mwacha Forest, they were very, very clear they would not have interfered with the mangroves, and that explains why we have a bridge from kilometer 3 going through up to kilometer 7. We avoided the mangrove swamps, which is a reproductive area for fish, and we had to build a bridge across that area to ensure that we don't interfere with that particular section.
A study was done, first of all, to establish the corridors which conventionally, even without SGR, the various types of animals used to migrate. In that, we were able to establish 9 migratory corridors within Tsavo National Park, and automatically, wherever we had a migration corridor, it became a site for our bridges.
The width or the length of the bridge is 72 meters and the height is 6.5, minimum 6.5 meters. So even any animal can move across without any disturbance at all. So we actually consulted with KWS.
From a housefly to a giraffe, there will be free passage once this construction is completed. And the mandate of KWS is to ensure that wildlife is not unduly threatened or endangered. And the only way we could achieve this, given the economic circumstances that have been informed today, was to say, okay, but please go over and not through.
China Road and Bridge Corporation was also tasked with ensuring technology transfer and creation of direct jobs.
The element of labor is very, very important, because you can have machines but nobody to operate them. So at the very early stage, what we did was to discuss with the contractor to see how they could start sponsoring Kenyans to China to undergo this very specialized, railway engineering. Then we also had discussions with Chinese government to see how they could support us, actually create some curriculum programs in our local universities. With that, then we shall even be providing services to our neighboring countries when they start doing their projects. And so we shall be exporting labor.
The contractor, CRBC, is doing a lot of in-house training for the people that they are working with, the tradesmen, the people who are working with them, quite a lot. And then the consultant also,